Hip Hop Madness dropped a Lil Baby video not too long ago titled Lil Baby is Lost and Confused. Now, he recently just dropped he just dropped a 2-pack song, you feel me? 2 songs in one. You know what I'm saying? Dropped them at the same time. Now, he does that all the time when he's about to drop albums, and usually they're hits. But from what I've heard through TikTok and what I've heard through the grapevine, people are saying that this man Lil Baby keeps dropping the same song over and over. The flows is lazy. He doesn't sound inspired. This is trash. They're calling Lil Baby trash now, y'all. They're saying Lil Baby fell off. Now, the last album he dropped, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't as good as My Turn. Throat Baby, the ATL King. Hey, yo, Throat Baby. What are you talking about? You talking about that TikTok song? Hey, yo, I ain't gonna lie. Stay away from KMT, chat. Nah, I'm playing. Shout out KMT, man. As I can see, we streaming right now. It's the little stream setup. You feel what I'm saying? Turn on them post notifications to be notified every time I stream. You feel what I'm saying? You don't want to miss it. We be lit over here. But let's go ahead and jump into this Lil Baby reaction. You feel what I'm saying? Because if he's dropping the same song over and over, I feel like he's just trying to do this for money now. He's not really interested in leveling up anymore. Because I remember when they were saying Lil Baby was going to be the next Jay-Z. Oh, he's going to take over Drake when Drake retires. He's going to be next up. He's going to be the #1 rapper. Because he dropped what's it called? Emotionally Scarred. He literally had the whole My Turn. That whole album was full of hits, bro. But now it's like people saying he fell off. He's dropping the same song over and over. So let's come straight into this video and see what Hip Hop Madness has to say. Cause maybe they could shine somebody on what's going on
with them that keep telling him to put out these trash ass. Now there was a time I would just say, well, these guys are aging, but it's not even that. He's lost it. And I don't know who the yes man in the studio with them that keep telling him to put out these trash ass music. They don't got
y'all remember when Lil Baby dropped Hey? Yo, bro. Like songs like that, like come on, baby. Like, of course he gonna say he fell off when he's dropping songs like Hey. He's just trying to stay away from that Rico. I'm telling you.
One song no more. You keep putting out 2 and 3 songs at a time, hoping you'll catch one of them, and not one of them is hitting. When are we gonna really talk about this?
Generally speaking, they say what goes up must eventually come down. But in the case of Lil Baby, who once looked to be in pole position to replace Drake, it seems like things are spiraling out of orbit at an alarming rate. For a window of around 3 years, the rapper lesser known as Dominique Jones had more momentum and combined goodwill than any other artist in the field. Commended by old heads and seen as the leader of the new school by his contemporaries, Baby might not have meaningfully entered the game until 2017, but he wasted no time in becoming one of the biggest names in the culture. And after a stellar mixtape run, the release of 2020's My Turn wasn't just critically acclaimed and commercially lucrative, but had one of the most fitting album titles we've seen in a while. A #1 record that came complete with a modern protest anthem that took him to the top of the charts. Baby was at the vanguard of the trap movement, and before long, he was receiving the kind of plaudits that are usually reserved for veterans of the game.
Do you know you one of the biggest black men in the world?
Sure.
To me, you the hardest young. I stamped that.
Suddenly, Baby was on.
Nigga, who is that? Talking about somebody stamped that. Go back. Who is that? It's Up There podcast. I've never heard of this podcast a day in my life. Who said he gets the stamp? Who is correct me if I'm wrong, but do y'all know who that is? I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. As a young nigga myself, I don't know who that is.
Sure.
To
but
me,
he's right
you the
though.
hardest young. I stamped that.
Suddenly, Baby was on such a pedestal that he found himself performing at the FIFA World Cup, something usually only reserved for megastars, putting Baby in front of the eyes of 2 billion televisions globally. But while Big Loon spoke of his current prominence and the position that it granted him, there are now concerns over Lil Baby's staying power, as, due to the combination of persistent factors, the public that elevated him are now begging him to stay.
These are the biggest fall-offs in music. Polo G didn't fall off. Every time Polo G drops, it's a top 5 single, bro. Every time. He just doesn't drop anymore. Like, he's been pushing back his album. His album was supposed to drop at the end of this year. Now it's not coming out till spring. You feel what I'm saying? Like, he keeps pushing it back. The Baby, I feel like The Baby was just his music. He was dropping the same song over and over, matter of fact. That's what it was. The Baby was just dropping the same music and niggas got tired of it. Roddy Ricch, I ain't gonna lie, he did musically decline. Same with Baby. They both musically declined. And they didn't really ride the coattails of like their past drops as much as they should have, on the sole fact that they weren't making as good music. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Roddy Ricch will have a snippet on IG Live and niggas will leave once the music starts playing. Like, you feel what I'm saying? As a rapper, that's insane.
Stop rapping. Once seen as a reliable source for undeniable club bangers, Lil Baby now stands accused of falling into the familiar trap of getting comfortable and milking his sound, all the while refusing to alter his sound or respond to the criticisms that he's receiving. Back at the outset of his career, Lil Baby, who never envisioned himself as a rapper until he was coerced into it by Young Thug, was as focused as they come, releasing 7 projects in the space of just 2 years. Lil Baby evaded distractions and kept working. Along the way, he refused to be lured into petty beefs, even when everyone tried to pit him against DaBaby over similarities in their names.
That's crazy.
Tried to like go that way with me, but I always curved it from day one. When it came out and he blowed up, and then it was like he DaBaby and I'm Lil Baby. He don't sound like me. He ain't trying to like kick my swag. His name just DaBaby. It's enough money for both of us, as you see.
Possessing the kind of shrewd mindset that most rappers would benefit from, Lil Baby stayed locked in with his craft, flooding the market with new music, and becoming such a safe bet that even the biggest stars such as Nicki Minaj and Drizzy solely relied on his sound to boost their EPs and singles. At the time of his peak, Lil Baby's sound was so undeniable that many respected critics expected him to be the next Drake, and eclipse the man that put him on with Yes Indeed.
There was a time when a Drake feature helped Lil Baby. I think right now Drake might need that Lil Baby feature. Let's be clear, a lot of the Drake records, at least of late, haven't really taken off.
Fast forward to 2023, and not only does it not seem like Lil Baby has any chance of overtaking Drizzy, but there's a concern about him maintaining the success that he's currently riding on. Fresh from dropping a snippet like 350, which is essentially just a rehash of everything he's done for the past 4 years, Lil Baby...
See, people saying he's dropping the same music over and over. He's not gonna go nowhere. Like, he's not gonna go to the moon if he keeps dropping the same song over and over. He has to give us something fresh and new, bro. Remember when he dropped I Be in the Loop? Like, when he dropped that, it was like, oh, he's back. Oh, he's back. Bro, he dropped that album and it pew, 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 pew. That shit was not adequate, bro. It was not adequate. It definitely did not get the job done. It didn't get the job done. And I know he had an album titled My Turn, but his turn might be over, bro. I don't know if he could come back from stuff like this, because this literally dropped last week. 350 dropped last week. Lil Baby gotta get it together, bro.
Baby's facing heat from his own fan base, notably Kai Cenat, while not directly calling out Lil Baby, skillfully sidestepped commenting on the song itself and instead focused all criticism on the production.
I'm not even joking. The beat's louder than him. No. Fire the producer. Bro, why is the beat louder?
With some fans admitting that, I think it's time we start having that conversation in regards to Baby's fall off. Combined with canceled tour dates across the nation, it's not a great time to be in the 4PF camp right now. So how do we get to the point where Baby's magic is wearing off? And what can be done, if anything? Well, for starters, let's broach the issue that he had in terms of selling tickets. In July, it was revealed that Lil Baby had canceled a series of shows on his It's Only Us tour, which saw Baby head venues that tend to have capacities of around 15,000 to 20,000 people. In essence, it's the kind of venues that someone like Drake, Cole, or Kendrick, the big threes, routinely sell out. Left with no explanation in terms of why the shows were pulled, fans immediately assumed that it was low sales that led them to be unceremoniously canceled. But while this was the most overt example of Lil Baby not being a draw, the warning signs were there even during his peak. Hot on the heels of their collab project, The Voice of the Heroes, Baby and Lil Durk launched their Back Outside tour. Staged at a time when fans were ravenous for shows after lockdown, it was immediately...
When Durk and Baby dropped their collab tape, I feel like Baby was a little bit bigger than Durk, but they were like this close. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I feel like Durk is right here. I think this is Durk and this is Baby right now, bro. And it's slowly going like this if Baby keeps dropping the same song over and over. And fans just not messing with the new music he's dropping. When it comes to Durk, he already has such a loyal fan base over the fact that he's been rapping since 2010. He has such a loyal fan base that he's always going to have those fans. And he's able to make hits. He had the song with J. Cole, and that song is literally a top 10 biggest song of all of 2023. Lil Baby doesn't have a song like that. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like the critics and like the fans and whatnot over the time where Lil Durk dropped his album, they were saying it wasn't as good as the last project. And they were saying like it was a little iffy. But it was still good music on there. I feel like Lil Baby's last project, it was not a lot of good songs on there. The most memorable thing about the project was, hey, let's be real. You feel what I'm saying? Now, this new project Baby's gonna drop, it might put him over Durk. But if this project is the same level as his last one, or it's worse, I don't see who's gonna be able to top over Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake. Like, I don't see a single rapper that's gonna be able to do that if the ones that were in that spot can't even do it. You feel what I'm saying? Now, we have people like Youngboy. I don't even know where the fans stand with Youngboy, so I won't even speak on that. But I don't think Youngboy is ever gonna be like a mainstream superstar just because of the personality he gives off. And he's in the house 24/7. He's on house arrest. So you feel me? He can't even do shows and whatnot. But I do think Dirk is probably one of the biggest rappers outside of the big three. You feel me? And Polo G could be that too if he dropped. All Polo G needs to do is drop music and it will go so crazy.
Immediately assumed that by way of their combined hype, these shows would easily sell out. But as academics would reveal on the Flagrant 2 podcast, Baby might have overestimated his own hype.
He's trying to do arenas about 10,000 to 15,000. You imagine it's Baby. Yeah. They say his tour is doing bad. You'll never see him post that his tour is sold out. It's not selling that much.
Alongside acknowledging that Jack Harlow opted for smaller rooms and was consistently selling out, Baby may have later posted that the tour actually grossed $15 million, but not selling out ultimately hurt his brand, because unfortunately for artists, in hip-hop, optics are often all that matters. So once fans unanimously think you've fallen off, it's almost impossible to regain momentum, regardless of the music.
He said fall off and started putting pictures of Tyga and Chance the Rapper up. That's crazy.
Take a look at someone like DaBaby, for example. He's arguably dropping the best music of his career right now, but now that the public view of him has turned, it'll always be reaching a diminished audience. In terms of how this factors into Lil Baby, this can be seen in the reaction to both 350, Crazy, and other recent snippets that he shared. Although they don't sound drastically different from anything he's released before, the response has been one of absolute revulsion from his fans. In terms of recovering from this,
Sunset, only thing that can save you is Voice of the Heroes 2.
In real time that it could be overcome through Baby's former collaborator Gunna. Within the space of dropping his new project, A Gift and a Curse, Gunna went from being labeled a snitch for taking a plea deal to suddenly being welcomed back into hip-hop's good graces without cosigns from any rappers. As to how this happened, well, that actually does come down to the output to a certain extent. As while Gunna advanced musically on his new project and made something compelling, Lil Baby has remained stationary.
I listened to the project and I said, this is interesting. Keep in mind, QC pretty much froze everybody on the label and allowed Lil Baby to keep dropping singles every 4 to 6 weeks up until the release of this project. Song after song after song after song after song, which might have been good. I believe that led to watering down the sound. Lil Baby has a very noticeable cadence. His rhyming scheme, the way he drones through a hook, is very noticeable and is very replicable. It's the reason why we think he's making the same song over and over and over and over and over and over again. He dropped all of those, and then right after announced an album, and then at that moment, for whatever reason, he dropped the worst versions of him trying to make those same songs again.
Here, we have all the issues stemming from Lil Baby's latest project, It's Only Me. Following the love that his previous album received, topping the record was always going to be difficult. But during a release day interview with Angie Martinez, Baby downplayed the weight of expectation when it came to surpassing My Turn's success.
I'm not even in that same space no more to even like compare it.
But no pressure to live up to it because people love that album.
Not like pressure to live up to it because I'm not living up to that album. That was just what I had.
And that's why you fell off, baby. And that's exactly why you fell off, man. These rappers don't have the ambition anymore to get better. You could be in a different headspace, but it's always that mindset of wanting to get better, wanting to grow. You feel what I'm saying? Showcasing that, yo, I'm still like that. It's still my turn. My turn is not over yet. You feel what I'm saying? And he didn't prove that on this album. I ain't gonna lie. And it makes so much sense hearing him say that. It makes so much sense hearing him say that.
So I'm trying to like live up to everything I do, if that makes sense. That would be me thinking small. I'm on some way bigger and better.
Yo, what's good, Satisfying?
Project as a departure from
what's
the
good,
past,
my boy?
Lil Baby's press tour implied that the next record coming down the pipeline will be full of depth that we haven't seen from him before.
I feel like my music more listening. You gotta listen to what I'm saying. It ain't really too much just shoot 'em up, bang bang, or super catchy. You kinda gotta just like real. Not saying I don't say nothing about shoot 'em up, bang bang, cause that's real too. But for the most part, I feel like you gotta just listen to what I'm saying and understand it.
When it was released, It's Only Me did outperform My Turn in terms of first week sales, but that's about the only way it beat his previous album. As for starters, this apparent new level of introspection in his bars was completely missing.
When you're even looking at Lil Baby and the way that he actually forms his rhymes, you'll notice that from one line to the next, there's no logical continuity. He'll splurt out something random and follow it up with something that has nothing to do with the previous line. So he's not setting himself up for any punchlines on here. That hook to Hey, it's the catchiest thing on here, bro.
Yeah.
Nothing sticks. Nothing is addictive the same way that you got addictive melodies on songs like Emotionally Scarred, for example, on the previous album. This is a major regression from Baby.
A record which was widely panned for its repetitive sounds, critics were quick to point to the fact that he fell off with the production too.
The production choices on this project are pretty bland too. Very thin trap beats with mild 808s and hi-hats and snares that are basically emaciated. They're so lifeless. I'm actually kind of surprised to see most of the writing credits on these tracks mentioning at least a handful of people. If I didn't know any better just listening to the quality of this record, I would have assumed this whole thing was thrown together by a skeleton crew of Lil Baby, a couple of producers, and maybe an engineer.
On top of the fact that these tracks were somewhat lacking in creativity, what also needs to be factored in is that to a certain section of his fans, they had garnered an affection for him that was left unfulfilled. When Lil Baby dropped The Bigger Picture at the height of the BLM movement, he quickly found himself with his very first Billboard #1 hit, suddenly giving an empowering track that was completely outside of his usual sound. Lil Baby earned himself a bunch of new fans. But when it came to feeding this new audience, they've been neglected. And even though Coach K claimed they all stuck around, it seems like that was temporary. As opposed to leaning into his new role as an outspoken activist and stepping territories that even Drake hasn't seen, Lil Baby has arguably gone the opposite way and is now rubbing shoulders with billionaires like Michael Rubin.
Michael Rubin ruined Lil Baby, bro. Ever since that party, his music has not been the same, son. Let's be real here. I don't know what Michael Rubin did to that man or what them all-white parties have done to Lil Baby, but nah, bro. His music has never been the same, son. We gotta bring Lil Baby to Zone 6 with 21, bro. Because clearly 21 still be going back. Because he's been able to make fire every step of the way. His features be tough. You feel what I'm saying? Maybe you gotta go back to where Thug and them was at, bro. Just lay low. You don't want to get caught back up in that Rico. But I'm telling you, bro, that man Lil Baby, I'm telling you, the only reason why his music has been dwindled is because he don't want to get caught up in no Rico no more, bro. Let's be real here. Ever since Thug got caught up, that man Lil Baby hasn't been dropping the same kind of music. It has not been hitting at all.
And Robert Kraft. According to him, he's simply acquiring game, but it has diminished some people's ability to root for him when he's constantly chasing the bag rather than feeding them with his artistry.
What have you learned from those guys?
I learned a lot. Ask questions. They know answers to questions we don't even know about. They 10-year-old kid know that. But they couldn't tell me nothing about the streets, though.
Hanging with billionaires who were infatuated by hip-hop culture while he garners a physical education, it's unsurprising that Baby wants to learn the ropes of business, considering that he's already been talking about his exit strategy from rapping.
I don't want to be an old rapper.
Really? You know everybody says that.
I just always had that thought in my head, like, I don't want to be no older rapper, like 35, 36.
While this could be understandable if it was just a simple side mission, some images from Baby with the Billionaire Boys Club suggest that the relationship isn't his focus for
This is crazy. These pictures are crazy.
Baby as he made it out to be.
Son got cotton candy hair and you full body hugging a man with cotton candy hair while another man hugs you from the back, and then in another picture another man's hugging you from the back and you all teeth and smiles. I didn't see this man Lil Baby smile until these pictures came out. I've never seen him smile before then. What is going on over there, bro?
Pictured in what academics described as hugging in the Oreo position, there's a sense that he's treated like a novelty by billionaires. And while ignoring the negative comments might have worked at his peak, there's tangible proof that he needs to switch his approach. And according to ACT, it starts with his recording process.
I heard a story about Lil Baby. I've never been in the studio recording with him ever, by the way. They said when Lil Baby's about to record, he usually kicks out a lot of people out of the studio. He don't like to record in front of a lot of people. Secondly, when he's recording, he never wants the recording to be played out loud. He wants to keep it between him and the engineer until it's like finalized. That sounds like your creative process isn't maybe helped, or even you're hell bent on doing what you want to do.
Yeah, man. I don't know. What does this say about Lil Baby? What is this? I don't know, man. Can Lil Baby be saved? Can Lil Baby be saved? Will we finally be able to get some good music from Lil Baby? Because the music he's dropping now, it's not cutting it, if you ask me. It's not cutting it. But comment down below how y'all feel about Lil Baby, man. You feel what I'm saying? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And will we finally see a comeback from Dominique? I don't know, but comment down below how y'all feel. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Shout out Hip Hop Madness. And I'm out. Peace. Hey!